Five Claw,
This
over here.
city, Rimmon, I believe I visited this place long ago. It was newer then, not quite as large, and there were definitely fewer Euraxians. I'm almost certain about that. It seems that before I became the emaciated epitome of perfection standing before you, I was the miscreant the world knew as Cadwell the Betrayer. My recollections of that time are all jumbled up like pieces of broken pottery in a burlap sack. I've been wondering about that myself. Was it the transition from life to death? When I turned into a soul shriven, perhaps the centuries I spent wandering around scenic Cold Harbor? Who can tell? I'm just glad that I'm no longer a monumental ass. I've seen things that would curdle the cream in your cabbage pie. My original head is a menace, and that necromancer, Zumok Food, he's even worse. They collected a pile of body parts. I think they're me, or the old me. It's all quite confusing. Wouldn't miss it for all the shackles in Cold Harbor. I live for this kind of adventure. Besides, I want to make sure they don't get around to reassembling my old body. One of me is quite enough. Two is definitely out of the question.
I assume you recovered the master key? Oh, fragrant, my friend. I have waited a long time to return to the palace. My home. Tarn will describe the plan to you. I need a moment to collect my thoughts. Do you doubt my claim, Five Claw? No, no. Sometimes I find it hard to believe as well. I was barely 13 when the soldiers attacked. My father, King Hemakar, thought the new emperor had sent troops to bolster our defenses. He was wrong. Not just Rimmon. All of Anequina. The usurper queen hired an army and conquered our land to assuage her pride, her greed. She wanted to be a queen, so she killed my parents and subjugated my people. With your help, that ends today. My father's bodyguard, the King's Claw, escorted me to an adeptorium. I insisted on visiting the Grand Adept of the Desert Wind, and my father acquiesced. We were there when Euraxia attacked. Later, he took me to Gareshri. I never saw him again.
I may not have figured out Chimera's true identity, but things have been hectic since I met her. Zamorak, though, he was easier to surmise. I recognized the bearing of the King's Claw the moment I saw him. Did you find us a way into the palace? The crypts. So that means another delightful trek through the sewers. The overwhelming stench of excrement still lingers from our last visit. Ah well. I have another task for you to deal with first, however. The siege weapons aim down into the city. We need to disable them before Euraxia realizes she's under attack, or she'll destroy Rimmon just to spite us. Meet Nalado and destroy 2 of the installations. Chimera will take care of the 3rd. Just thinking out loud, a habit I acquired during my time in the archives at White Gold Tower. Zamorak once served as a royal protector. From his bearing and the way he hovers near Chimera, he had to be one of the King's Claws. It's quite obvious. Captain Nalado's waiting for you near the siege weapons. Work with her to put them out of commission. Once we see the weapons go up in flames, we'll head out and rendezvous with you at the sewer entrance. I'm counting on it. After you and Nalado destroy the first two platforms and Chimera deals with the third, Euraxia will order her troops into the streets to defend the city. That will mean fewer soldiers inside the palace to hamper our assault. Zamorak, Cadwell, and I will make our way to the sewers and deal with any Euraxians stationed there. Can't have them raise an alarm and alert my half-sister to our true intentions. Are you insinuating that my contributions are lacking? Oh, how biting. Was that supposed to wound my feelings? Amateur. And have you already forgotten the part you played in the halls of Colossus? Your hands are as stained as mine. But we're going to fix this. Together. So let's get to it, shall we? The good captain waits near the palace. She went on ahead to scout the area and determine what opposition you might encounter at the siege weapon platforms. I appreciate that level of planning, especially since it's rare to see among the Khajiit. Someone needs to remain behind and organize what remains of the militia. The Speaker of the Main is best suited to the task. Besides, if we fail, though we won't, someone needs to respond when Euraxia unleashes death and destruction upon the city. The King's Claws were an elite squad of agents loyal to King Hemakar of Rimmon. They protected the king and the royal family, undertook special missions, all very hush-hush. It's a guess, but if I'm right, it explains much about Zamorak. Zamorak, Cadwell, and I will make our way to the sewers and deal with any Euraxians stationed there. Can't have them. I thought you might be remarking on how spellcasting seems to leave me drained. Or perhaps you were implying that this was my fault for accidentally releasing the dragons from the halls of Colossus. No matter. Do your job, and I'll do mine.
This one feels the weight of responsibility. It bears down like a boot upon my tail. Zamorak says many things. This one's words jump out of their own accord like fish leaping from a stream. Pay them no mind. We have much to do, Walker. Now is not the time to dredge up events that happened long ago. You asked Zamorak about his exile and why he returned. This one supposes he needs to tell someone, so it might as well be you, Walker. Zamorak was once more than just a humble adept. He was plucked from his studies and forged into a king's claw. Zamorak set aside his studies to protect the king and the royal family. But Zamorak failed. In the end, this one could save only Chimera. After that, I exiled myself and dedicated my life to peaceful contemplation. Zamorak dreamed that Elsweyr was in danger, that Joan and Jode wanted me to return, to face my failure and help Chimera take back her throne. That is what Zamorak thinks. That is what Zamorak will do. But do not tell Chimera. Not yet.
I'll get to the far bastion. Best we don't travel together.
A divine lives among us. Come and give thanks to him. You have nothing to fear now. Alkash has returned. Aha! More faithful heed the call. You wish to go to Sunspire Temple and pray before divine Alkosh yourself? Natrada will take you. Oh, a wondrous thing, a true miracle. The Dragon King of Cats, Alkosh incarnate, has descended on the temple to lead his stray kin back to the righteous path. Will you heed his call? No, Walker, a god, the first of the divine litter, Alkosh. Maybe you know him by his other names. Akatosh, Dragon God of Time, Oriel, all aspects of the first cat. Have faith. When we reach Sunspire, you will see I speak the truth. Hop in my cart when you're ready for the journey, and I will take you to Priestess Shalani. Though it would behoove me to depart with a full cart. Perhaps you'd help Natrada gather more faithful. A dozen would do, but she will take you either way. You may think Khajiit only worship the moons and look to the little Tar for guidance, but there are many gods to whom we pray to or appease. Alkosh is chief among them, firstborn of the divine litters. Through him, all time flows. All the divines have a vital role to play. But you could say Alkosh's is the most important. Without him, time would not flow like a river that we mortals can sail, but sit lifeless or churn like a boiling pot. He keeps us from chaos and stagnation. Yes, he's come to deliver us from these turbulent times, but don't take it on my word. When you witness this miracle for yourself, all your doubts will fade. She is an attendant of the temple who receives the newcomers that this one brings to Alkosh. Natrada is simply a faithful servant, but Shalani can speak for the temple if you have more specific questions.
More faithful answer the roar of the first cat. Come, come, welcome.
More fresh faces on their pilgrimage to the divine. Who among our preachers graced you with the good word? Ah, Natrada has a gift for spotting those with faith in their hearts. Let me be the first to welcome you to Sunspire, seat of Alkosh, the Dragon King of Cats. You must be eager to see him for yourself. Then present yourself to our bishop, Azinjo. With his blessing, you may proceed into the temple grounds and have your audience with the divine. This is a pure house of Alkosh now. This one swears it upon her soul. Not long, but when I heard of Alkosh's return, I knew I had to come. Now I study the tenets of his faith under the tutelage of Azinjo. He has been here longer than anyone, the last of the original clergy. I am honored to keep the traditions alive. Now is not the first time that Alkosh has appeared before his people. He graced us with his presence on this mountain once before, in similarly dark times. Through his intervention, we were spared from death, and Sunspire was built for his veneration. Just so. To hear Azinjo tell it, this temple was once a thriving center of faith for the Khajiiti kingdoms, and with Alkosh's return, it will be so again. Our bishop is a kind and faithful servant of Alkosh. He's watched over this temple almost all his life. If it weren't for his diligence, the traditions of our faith might have died out. But because of his piety and determination, Sunspire is saved. The teachings of Riddletar became the central principles of the Khajiit, and Jacques took prominence in their hearts. They forgot that before Riddaridata, knew the Riddledar, Alkosh was there. Without him, Jacques Agé would be powerless. Because without Alkosh to keep the rhythm, the two moons cannot dance. If they cannot weave the lunar lattice with their movements, then nothing will protect us from Lorkhaj and Anor. The bright moons have blinded too many from him.
Hey there, good looking. Well, if it isn't my old friend. Been a while, eh? Stros Mackay, remember? Never mind. No, I jumped out. Say, I know this is a little sudden, but are you looking to make a bit of gold? Meet me at the Sugar Bowl here in Rimmon. Got some business that might interest you. Talk soon.
Jakar, get back here, you sneaky claw!
Scrawny, stringy. We'll cut his ears off. Cut. Scrawny.
You there! Did you see a puny Breton run this way? Answer, Akan! The Khajiit will rip out your mewling throat if you do not answer. Now, this one will ask just one more time. Did you see a scrawny Breton running away from this building? Yes or no? That rotten little... Oh. When Akan finds that shaved-skinned Jakarn, he will knock those stupid flat teeth right out of his head. Listen to me. If the guards ask if you saw us, you say no. Betray us, and the wrath of Tuheba will find you. Eljan, we go!
Stop these dragons before they spread outside of Elsweyr.
We'll pluck that bird's feathers one way or another.
By John and John, so much work to do.
Greetings, Walker. Have you come seeking work? There is much to do here in Elsweyr. Much to do. All manner of work, Rook. Nisuzi offers tasks that you can tackle alone. Rahir gathers groups of warriors to face great beasts and savage warriors, and Battle Reef Tannerlina conscripts heroes for the most dangerous task of all, dragon hunts. Excellent. Please, speak to my associates and they'll help you get started. Here's a small retainer to keep your interest. Generous, yes? Ha! Good hunting, Walker. Don't forget to check back regularly, Walker. That retainer won't fill your belly for long. All manner of work, Rook. Well, that depends. Who do you want to know more about? Rehir, Nisuzi, or Battle Reef Tanerlina? Nisuzi is a Bandari, and the Bandari always needs something. The work you do for her will likely take you to the caves, mines, and sunken ruins of Elsweyr. Dangerous work, but not so dangerous that you couldn't accomplish it on your own. Yes, Walker. Rehir speaks for Rimmons elders and clan mothers, and they expect a great deal from us. Some threats are too great to face alone. Massive beasts, cruel necromancers, all kinds of horrors. But if you succeed, old Rehir pays well. Well, everyone wants people to kill dragons. They're a nuisance. But Battle Reef Tanerlina actually pays heroes to do it. Fair warning, though. No one can face those beasts alone. Seek out other warriors before you attack, or you will wind up a crispy chicken, yes?
I heard that a necromancer named Bastari stopped the undead plague in the Ashen Scar. Though maybe she helped the person who actually stopped it.
Bright moons, that's good news.
Dancing through savannah grass, on light feet we glide. Hey, hey, Bandari boy.
The Sugar Bowl offers a variety of entertainments for the weary traveler. Tell Zadazi, what is your preference? Slow and sweet, or fast and vigorous? Ah, this one is talking about the music, of course.
Our kingdom on our backs. Home is on the move again, on wagon wheels we go. Hey, hey, Bandari boy, where the wild winds blow. Hey, hey, Bandari girl, our caravan and go.
I tell you, Khajiiti traders are slipperier than buttered eels. Sure, they're all pleasantries and compliments when the negotiations start. But try to cut yourself a fair deal? That's when they show you just how stubborn they can be.
Hey, they're good looking. I hope Akan and Eljan didn't give you too much trouble. They're both wanted by the city guards, so I doubt we'll be seeing them in a reputable establishment like this. Now, ready to make more gold than you've ever seen? Job's simple. I need you to search Rimmons sewers for a barrel hidden near an altar to Clavicus Vile. Under the lid, you'll find a note that lays out Tuheba's current whereabouts. She's the crime boss here in Elsweyr. Kind of a big deal. You talk to her. Typically, I'd lay on the charm personally, but Tuheba and I aren't on great terms at the moment. I need you to smooth things over. She has my friend, see? Fezcar. She'll probably give him up if the price is right. Nothing so romantic. Think of it as a down payment on some valuable information. See, Tuheba hired Fez and I to steal a gem called the Jewel of Bondar for her. Fez stashed it away, but didn't tell me where. We get Fez, we get the gem. Simple. I jumped out. But sure, bit of a tale there. Akan and Eljan, those two charmers you met in the alley, work for Tuheba. They thought I might know where Fez hid the jewels, so they tied me up and worked me over for a while. Right. I tried to tell them they were wasting their time, but you know how thugs are. Anyway, the gangly one, Eljan, is moon-touched. Nice way of saying he's a half-mad sugar fiend. I had some moon sugar in my pocket, as you do, and he found it. He went berserk. Little rascal started climbing the walls. And I mean literally climbing, like a cat up a tree. While Akon was busy prying Eljan off the ceiling, I slipped my buns and went out the window. Easy as sneaking past a moth priest. And in a sewer, no less, right? Fair question. I know a Khajiit, Naruz. We spent some time together. Very brief, but very intense. Anyway, he works for Tuheba, and so he's in the know. I called in a favor, and this is the result. Naruz is a little anxious. Always thinks someone's watching him, you know? Honestly, I can't explain it. Even when we were together, he'd insist we meet up in old abandoned barns and musty basements. Exciting at first, but it got old quick. Trust me, friend, my talents will do us much more good here. Tuheba's gonna want a fair amount of coin for Fezkar's release, especially now that I slipped out of her claws. While you get her location, I'll get the gold we need. Not steal, gamble. Well, alright, sometimes that's the same as stealing when I'm involved, but only because I'm very, very good. Full disclosure, we may need to make a swift exit, depending on how well I do here. It'll probably be fine. Probably. It's an opal the size of a fist. Never seen anything like it. Unfortunately, it's got some religious significance. That always complicates things. The jewel is a tribute to Bondar, the trickster god. Most every cut person elsewhere prays to him. Actually, she hired us to steal it back. The Iraxians snatched it up when that Tharn woman took over Rimmen, so really we were just helping the downtrodden, the thieves and footpads of Elsweyr. Heroic, right? Once we found out how valuable it was, Fez demanded twice the price that Tuheba had promised us. Bad idea, but Fez doesn't really do savvy, you know? Knowing she might take things poorly, he hid the jewel. The rest is very uncomfortable history.
You stood against the darkness at Moonmont, the Dromathra. Moons be praised.
Would you like to hear the words of our beginnings? It was Azura who shaped us according to the will of her mother, Fadomai. The Khajiit were made to be fastest, cleverest, and most beautiful. Azura gave us the gifts to climb to great heights, to deceive those who may harm us. But there was a terrible cost to Azura's gift. Nirni, mother to all creatures, was furious that we had changed our shape. She turned our sweet grasslands to dry desert, our tall forests to thickets of thorns. Yes, by giving us the secrets of the moons and how to change our shapes. From this wisdom came the Pamars and the Dagi, the Alfiq and the Oms. This is why the Khajiit remain faithful to Azura, despite Nani's great punishment.
Oh, I hope no one's hurt. This one shudders to think of the damage the beast could do. "100 apologies, Walker, but this show is postponed for now. If you purchased a ticket, this one will gladly refund your gold. Oh, forgive Tahara. Her worry gets the better of her. One of my menagerie's most terrifying beasts escaped from its cage. I turned my back for only a moment to speak to an onlooker, you see, and pow! The monster burst free! Oh, a vicious beast with ravening jaws and beady black eyes. The Brett and Tahara bought it from called the creature Bertel. But do not let its silly name fool you. You seem capable. If you find Bertel, I will gladly share some of my profits with you. This one is humbled by your generosity, Walker. She will see you fully compensated for the danger of this task. Of course, Tahara will answer what she can. I warn you, though, you may learn more than you'd like. Tales of Bertel can rattle your very soul. Yes, of course. It stalks on 4 clawed feet, standing as high at the shoulder as Tahara is at her waist. Its fur is blood-burnished gold, and its floppy ears dangle like curtains at the cheek, framing a muzzle filled with yellow teeth. Yes! Oh, Walker, you will never meet a more fearsome creature. To think the noble wolf bred into such a compact frame of death and horror. In the Khajiiti tongue, Ta'agra, the word for dog, means death. Can you believe that? Well, no. Dog just means dog. But still, you know what Tahara is telling you.
Oh, for the love of dog trappings. All over my new sandals, too. Damn.
Eurexia was always a cruel ruler, but never did this one think her so desperate. Every day, all Tazid thinks about is one of those ballistas shooting into his home. This one's poor stomach.
May Arcade drive back the darkness, forevermore.
Don't pay the locals any heed, newcomer. The Khajiit of Rimmon are only happy when they're sugar drunk or complaining about Queen Euraxia.
I must say, Queen Euraxia has been nothing but a gracious host. However, it is a little difficult to see past her particular disposition when it comes to leadership, such as her siege weapons aimed into the city.
Jalar hopes you have a good reason for interrupting his meal. You're either the best-dressed beggar I have ever seen, or this is some kind of con. What's your game, Walker? Ceaseful! There is no need for that! Take the damned stuff. I don't care. It isn't even that good.
Shore's bones. Rigert knew he should have brought more mead. Rigert's favorite diplomatic assistant. How have you been? Rigert has been busy bringing cultures together like a delicious stew made of strangers. Now Rigert could use your help. After our past success, it would be good to work with you again. As soon as Rigert returned home from successful diplomatic endeavoring, the Skald King sent him to Elsweyr with gifts for the cats. Rigert is always given the most important, most faraway missions. Problem is, Rigert lost the gifts. So many ways. First, a courier brought Rigert's package to Riverhold instead of Rimmen. Then, as our ship was boarding, a werebear attacked and stole honey needed for my special sweetbread. Last and not least, Rigert's famous minstrels are missing. Thank you, friend. Retrieve Rigert's package from Thedara in Riverhold Marketplace and meet me after in the Stitches. Rigert's diplomacy waits for no man, or woman, or cat. But be careful. Sweaty threats fill Elsweyr's deserts. The finest coats in all of Skyrim. A gift for Canon Reeve Jusdo to make peace between the Nords and Khajiit. Rigert would already have them if his courier wasn't completely incontinent. The package was delivered to Thedara in Riverhold Marketplace. It's impossible to find Windhelm-worthy honey in Elsweyr, but this cat merchant says honey flowers from Merryvale Moon sugar farms will work for baking sweetbread. Rigert's cooking is sure to make peace between the Nords and Khajiit. Rigert hired Skyrim's best band, the Screaming Mammoths, to play for Lady Issa. She has great influence with the cats, so Rigert needs to gain her favors to clinch peace between our peoples. Last Rigert heard, the band was at Valenwood Gate. Thank you, friend. Retrieve Rigert's package from Thedara in Riverhold. The Skald King charged Rigert with handling all matters that are out of his sight, so Rigert has been very busy, friend. It's difficult work, and it doesn't leave enough time for drinking too much mead, but Rigert wouldn't have it any other way.
My hero returns with the dread Bertolt in tow. Surely the creature is under some powerful spell. Your magics astound even me. Ah, indeed you do. The Gorger of Glenumbra captured once more. Its bestial intellect swayed by the promise of grisly table scraps. This fool, could you work with me here? It's part of the mystique. Just take your gold and act astounded, all right? The Gorger of Glenumbra returns! Feast your eyes upon his rippling musculature before he regains his appetite and feasts upon us all!
Just look at these monsters! Bajan has never seen something so hideous! Aside from his mother-in-law, of course. I jest, she's not so ugly. Her temperament, though, much worse than this lot.
Do you think it's safe to keep such creatures in the middle of town? If that dog escapes again, who knows what it will do?
A dog? Honestly?
If I'd known you could make a living showing mutts to people here in Elsweyr, I'd have emptied out all the kennels in Hugh's Bane before I left.
Oh, thank you again for finding my dog. No easy task, wrangling a feral man-eater like Bertel. But in all seriousness, keep his gentle disposition a secret, yes? Walkers do not pay to see dopey, good-natured mongrels. What? No, of course not. Well, not at first, anyway. Tahara did not mean for Bertel to escape, but show business relies on happy accidents, yes? A savage dog loose in the city. A sleek hero to pursue it. High drama, Walker. I know it will, just as long as you keep our little secret to yourself. The truth, my friend, is that truth is boring, sour. We all need a dash of sweet excitement from time to time, yes? Yes. Five Claw, good, good. We have work to do. Are you ready to disable the siege weapons and wreak some more havoc? The soldier guarding the gate to the south weapons platform appears bored. This one plans to give her something to get excited about. When she leaves her post, slip through the gate and set fire to the siege weapons. Be quick, Five Claw. At the gate, yes. This one observed a few more soldiers on the platform, but not many. The usurper queen feels secure in Rimmon. We're about to change that. After this one deals with the soldier, I will move on to the north platform. Meet me there. Watch as Namado becomes a sleek Uraxian soldier. Oh, how do they see with this thing on? Garashi has been spotted in the market. Hurry!
Finally,
some action.
Nalado will deal with the soldier. Oh, this one can't wait to get out of this dungy armor. The south platform is under attack.
Stupid cats! Wait, I better warn my lieutenant first.
Go, destroy the siege weapons. Nalado will clean up this mess.
Light it up!
This way!
We should be able to watch Queen Carmira destroy the far platform from over here. She did it! Now let's meet the others at the sewer entrance.
Here come the others now.
A queen should not rush into danger. It is unseemly. This one should be at her side to keep her safe. Nalado will follow orders, though. We must make our way through the crypts and into the palace before Camira gets into too much trouble, yes? Camira is queen now, so this one must do as she says. There are dangers ahead, regardless of whether we stick together or not. But we have a better chance of reaching the usurper queen if we approach from multiple directions. Yes, and if anything happens to our new queen, this one will have Tharn's head on a platter. We waste too much time, Five Claw. Are you ready to enter the sewers and find the door to the crypts?
I'll scout ahead! Tally-ho!
Everyone, unsheathe your claws.
There is the door to the crypts. Let us see if the master key still works.
Nalado will guard the rear. You go ahead and find a way into the palace.
Over there! It's in the sewer. Just a...
Unsheathe your claws.
There is the door to the crypts. Let us see if the master key still works.
Nalado will guard the rear.
This one hasn't visited these crypts in a long, long time. When Zamorak served as the King's Claw, he regularly patrolled these old passages. Whoever defends Euraxia doesn't appear to be quite as vigilant. Wait, there is a scent. Undead. Be careful, Five Claw. Wait. This is the royal crypt, but it has been disturbed. They took his body. They desecrated the king's grave. And from the looks of it, the queen's and Kamira's siblings as well. Zamorak has no clue. This royal crypt was prepared when King Hemakar ascended to the throne and married Queen Numara. Why inter the bodies and then dig them up 6 years later? Dark moons. This one hopes that is not the case. To even think such a thing makes Zamorak's fur stand on end. We should hurry and find Chimera. Find the Queen. We need to find a way into the palace, and quickly.
Euraxia not only murdered our king and queen, she desecrated their graves! She's a monster!
We can reach the royal chambers through the Chapel of the Guiding Moons and the Great Hall.
That's far enough. Queen Euraxia.
The Chapel of the Guiding Moons is just ahead.